The Civil Rights Act of 1964 marked a pivotal moment in American history, as individuals fought for equality and challenged centuries of institutionalized discrimination. A landmark achievement in the fight for civil rights, the act remains a symbol of hope and progress. JFK's fight for freedom, a legacy of civil rights. On July 11, 1963, President John F. Kennedy delivered a televised speech to the nation where he strongly advocated for a more effective Civil Rights Act. He stated that the country will only be fully free when all its citizens are free. 1 week later, he submitted a proposal for the most extensive civil rights legislation in U.S. history to Congress. Unfortunately, JFK was assassinated on November 22, 1963, and did not get to see his bill become a law. Nevertheless, in the aftermath of his death, newly sworn-in President Lyndon B. Johnson made a clear declaration of his intention to carry out Kennedy's proposal. In a speech to a joint session of Congress on November 27, Johnson proclaimed that nothing could more fittingly honor President Kennedy's memory than the prompt passage of the Civil Rights Bill which he had been striving for. The Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was significant legislation in the field of civil rights and was enacted by President Lyndon B. Johnson on July 2, 1964. The act prohibited any form of discrimination in employment on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. It also banned segregation and discrimination based on these characteristics in public places and programs that received funding from the federal government. In addition, the act placed restrictions on discriminatory voting practices. The journey to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Civil Rights Act of 1957 was the first federal legislation addressing the legal rights of African Americans post-Reconstruction. The act established a Civil Rights Division in the Justice Department and the U.S. Civil Rights Commission to address racial discrimination claims. Despite the act, discrimination and segregation continued to be widespread. The act failed to protect African American voting rights and enforce school desegregation. Kennedy and Johnson fought for a new Civil Rights Act to address growing frustrations with racism. On July 2, 1964, Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act into law, surrounded by leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lewis. The act prohibited segregation in public places based on race, religion, color, national origin, or sex, and also restricted discriminatory voting requirements. Title VII created the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission to address workplace discrimination. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 banned literacy tests and provided federal oversight of voter registration. The Fair Housing Act of 1968 prohibited discrimination in property sales, rental, and financing. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and its impact today. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 is considered to be one of the most significant pieces of civil rights legislation in American history. It marked a major milestone in ending racial discrimination and segregation. Since its passing, the act has been referenced in various court cases that have expanded and confirmed its protection against discrimination. For example, the Supreme Court in the 1971 case Phillips v. Marietta Court determined that, based on the Civil Rights Act, companies cannot discriminate against women who have preschool-aged children in their job applications, unless the same policy applies to male applicants. In 2020, the U.S. Supreme Court made a ruling in Bostock v. Clayton County that discrimination based on sex encompasses discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. As a result, Title VII's provisions against workplace discrimination are applicable to LGBTQ+ individuals. Before this decision, it was legal to dismiss employees on the basis of their sexual orientation or gender identity in over half of the states. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a game-changing step towards ensuring civil rights for millions of Americans and is likely to continue to play a role in protecting marginalized groups in the future. That concludes our video. To stay updated on all our new content, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. Goodbye for now and take care. Thanks for watching.